What's good, YouTube? Standing Man, aka 12 Gauge 365, back at y'all with another video. And yes, we are in the new season. We are in a new year. We are in 2026. So I want to say Happy New Year's to everybody. Hopefully everybody had a good New Year. Hopefully everybody had a good Thanksgiving and Christmas. Hopefully everybody had a good end of 2025 and they're having a good start to 2026. So as we crank up this new fight season, man, we have UFC 324 coming up January the 24th, I believe. I gotta check my Carfax on that, but we have Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett. Now this is a star-studded card. I mean, even some of the prelims and the early prelim fights are fire. We got Michael Johnson versus Alex Hernandez. We got Atiba Gardier. He's fighting again. He's one of the most exciting middleweights coming up. Everybody calls him the middleweight Francis Ngannou, so he's got a fight coming up. That's fire. We got Nikita Krylov versus Modestas Bukauskas. That's gonna be a fire fight at light heavyweight. Then we got Rose Namajunas coming back fighting Natalia Silva. Now she was supposed to fight Alexa Grasso. It sucks that that fight ain't happening. I gotta go back and see why that fight's not happening or who pulled out or something like that. I'm pretty sure it's injury related or something like that. But either way, Rose Namajunas is coming back. I can't wait to see her come back and put on a show. So hopefully she can get the win over Natalia Silva. Definitely room for Namajunas in that one. And then who else we got? We got Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes. That's gonna be fire. Nunes is coming back for another fight. Then we got then we got my favorite fight of the night, which is what I'm gonna talk about now, is the Derrick Lewis versus Waldo Cortez Acosta. That's gonna be a fire fight. I can't wait to talk about this one. Oh yeah, then we got Umar Nurmagomedov. He's fighting. Who is he fighting? He's fighting Davison Figueiredo. He's moved up from 125 and had a lot of success at 135. So, look, man, I can talk all day about the fights that are happening on this card. But yeah, man, it's a star-studded card, even down to the early prelims. This is gonna be a fire card. I can't wait for this one. I can't wait to review it, and I can't wait to talk about it, man. So look, we got Derrick Lewis versus Waldo Cortez Acosta, heavyweight showdown versus I mean, Derrick Lewis has to go down as one of the greatest heavyweights of all time, even though his record might not show that. I mean, he's had 12 I mean, he has some losses on his record, but I mean, the guy's done everything there is to do in the heavyweight division. I mean, he's fought for the chip. He's got the record for the most fights at heavyweight, the record for most wins at heavyweight, the record for most knockouts at heavyweight. I mean, the guy, look, the guy's the beast. The guy's a beast, man. I mean, he's fought the who's who of the heavyweight division. I mean, he's even got a win over Francis Ngannou. Had Francis Ngannou completely scared to throw a punch in that fight. So, look, Derrick Lewis has definitely been on the top of the mountain, and you gotta go. I mean, he's got to go down as like the top three, the top two or top three heavyweight. I'm sorry. Like, I mean, in my opinion, I mean, he's just done everything that there is to do, man. I mean, obviously, we got Cain Velasquez, we got Stipe Miocic, we got guys like Frank Mir, guys that's really done a lot in the heavyweight division. But I feel like Derrick Lewis has been that guy. I mean, he's been here for years. I mean, years. I mean, the guy has almost 30 fights. Half of them things being knockouts, and he's got the record for the most knockouts. And he called himself the knockout king, man. So look, man, Derrick Lewis has he's done it all, man. So, but he's going up against Waldo Cortez Acosta now. I've said it before, and I'm gonna say it again. I feel like Waldo Cortez Acosta is probably probably one of the dark horses of the heavyweight division, and he could be fighting for the championship this year, especially if he can get a win over Derrick Lewis. He should be fighting for the championship next. I mean, I don't know who else he fights other than Tom Aspinall or Ciryl for the championship. I mean, I don't know who else he fights. I mean, maybe he could fight Alexander Volkov. I mean, that's a fight that could be, that's a fight that could be or should be, happening next. But I mean, Volkov I mean, he already got screwed over in the Ciryl rematch. I mean, I feel like everybody feels like he won that fight. And, the UFC kind of threw him a bone over his last fight because a lot of people think he may have lost that last fight, but they gave it to him anyway. But I feel like Volkov is supposed to be next for the championship. So I don't see how he agrees to fight Cortez Acosta, especially if he's next up for the shot. So, I don't know if that fight happens, but I think that could be a good fight for Cortez Acosta if he gets to win. short of just fighting for the belt himself if he doesn't rematch Pavlich. But either way, I feel like Cortez Acosta is probably one of the better. He has one of the better skill sets in the heavyweight division, and I feel like like I said, I mean, he's next up. He's got to be next up. I mean, the guy has a great jab. He has a great right hand. I mean, the guy's a professional baseball player. So, I mean, throwing fastballs from a young age, I mean, you definitely got to have some power coming at you. I mean, you gotta have some power, man. I mean, he throws fastballs growing up, so he definitely got to have something behind that right hand. And I mean, and it shows. And it definitely shows. I mean, his knockout over Ante Deja, or however you say his name, I think it's Ante Deja. He got a knockout over him, definitely a fastball knockout. Hit him with that right hand and put him out. And put him out, man. So he's definitely got some great skill sets to bring. I mean, he's definitely got some really good boxing. Now he did have a professional boxing career before he matriculated over to the MMA world. I mean, he's got a 6-4 boxing record, so not the greatest boxing record. All four of his losses were three of his four losses have come by knockout, one by decision. So I don't. I mean, he didn't have a great record in boxing, but his boxing is definitely good enough to transition into MMA, and it shows. I mean, the guy has a 16-2 record, and he's 10-2 in the UFC. So, I mean, the guy's definitely done his work, and he's done his due diligence, and he is definitely a great prospect to go up against somebody like Derrick Lewis. This was a fire matchup. I don't know who thought to match these guys up, but this is definitely one because Derrick Lewis is kind of, even though I don't want to call Derrick Lewis a gatekeeper because it's not really a great term or phrase to be referred to as, especially in the fight business, because obviously everybody knows what a gatekeeper is. I mean, he's the guy that they throw you in there with to see if you're ready for the title shot, and a lot of times these gatekeepers end up, opening the gates for the next person. But Derrick Lewis has shown, because Derrick Lewis has had back-to-back wins against people who could definitely be the future of the heavyweight division. I mean, he, I mean, the guy that the Talison Texiera, I mean, that fight, I mean, everybody, Taliesin kind of protested the stoppage in that fight, but I mean, that was a definite clear TKO win for Derrick Lewis. So he definitely stopped him. So he stopped that hype train. And like I said, I mean, he might have ascended into gatekeeper status because I mean, like I said, he's done everything there is to do for in the heavyweight division. I mean, he's gotten knockouts, gotten the record for the knockouts, knocked out the who's who of the heavyweight division, and he's fought for the heavyweight championship before. So I mean, he's done everything it is to do. I feel like Derrick Lewis. I think it's fair to give him another shot at the heavyweight division because I mean he can definitely get the job done. I could see him knocking out somebody like Tom Aspinall, but with the skill set that Aspinall has, I can see Aspinall kind of using his grappling to get the edge in that one because you know going up against him and getting in the slugfest with somebody like Derrick Lewis is just not, it's not smart for anybody, and I don't care who you are, he'll put you to sleep. So but I feel like Cortez Acosta is one of those guys. He has great head movement. I mean, ducking and dodging baseballs growing up, the head movement is there. And we saw it against the Rebellis de Spain fight. That was a fight where a lot of people thought Cortez Acosta was going to get blitzed in a few seconds because that's how Despain got his rush into the UFC. He definitely got rushed into the spotlight that he wasn't ready for, and Cortez Acosta stopped that hype train adequately. I feel like Cortez Acosta probably could have got the knockout in that fight, but especially when he had him on the ground, he definitely could have, pushed the ground and pound and gotten the TKO win. But I think it was more about punishment for Cortez Acosta. I don't know what was said before that fight, but you can definitely tell there was some kind of energy there. But Cortez Acosta definitely showed his skill set in that fight. He doesn't have the greatest grappling, but his grappling is good enough to stall anybody striking out. And I can see him doing it in this fight against Derrick Lewis. However, this is a 3-round fight. If I'm not mistaken, this is a 3-round fight. Unless it's a contender fight that where it's 5 rounds. If I'm not mistaken, it's going to be a 3-round fight. So a 3-round fight, yeah, Derrick Lewis is dangerous from the start to the end. We've seen him get knockouts in the third round. We saw him do it against Alexander Volkov. He scored a very, very crazy knockout, and Volkov was whooping his ass from start to finish up until he got knocked out. So Derrick Lewis is one of those guys to where you cannot play. You cannot play. You have to have your hands up at all times. I feel like Cortez Acosta has really great head movement. I can see him stalling Derrick Lewis out, kind of reminiscent of what he did to Robelis de Spain, kind of stalling him out, getting him tired, and then either pushing for a finish or just, doing enough to survive and win the fight. Cortez Acosta can do that, and I feel like that's one thing that Dana White is probably looking forward to seeing if Acosta is going to do, because he definitely, like I said, he definitely could have got the knockout in the Spain fight, and Dana White recognized that too, and he said like, hey, he kind of didn't have some nice things to say about that fight, because if you're there to stop a hype train and you can get that TKO and get a chance to get $50,000 extra in your pocket, why wouldn't you take that opportunity? And like I said, I feel like he could have done that, but who knows, man? Who knows what was going through his mind at that point? I can tell you straight from a fighter's perspective, we can prep for months up until the fight, and you might get bird brain in the fight, and the plan might just go to crap. So, who knows, man? Who knows? But I feel like Cortez Acosta has the skill set and has everything in his bag to win this fight. Like I said, he has a great jab, great right hand, really, really great fast and hard leg kicks. I can see him kind of, copying Cyril Gane. I mean, there's definitely templates to beat Derrick Lewis. The only problem with Derrick Lewis is he has that delete button, and he can press that at any point in any given time in the fight. And that's just one of those things you have to be careful with. And look, man, I feel like this is one of those, like I said, styles make fights. From the MMA aspect and from the boxing aspect, these can be kind of, parallel, or maybe not so parallel with each other, because like I said, there's a million, you can throw a penny in the ocean and hit any boxer in that population, because there's just so many boxers to choose from. Whereas with the UFC, everything is kind of condensed. I mean, there's a lot more MMA companies or MMA promotions out there, but everybody knows the marquee big show is the UFC, and it's very condensed. So when you get somebody who can beat a gatekeeper per se, that can put you in a very big spotlight as far as fame and popularity wise goes in the UFC. Or as where boxing goes, there's a lot more money incentives that can be made, because money goes a little bit further in boxing than it does in UFC. But with the UFC, it's one of those things. You beat the right guys, and you're there, and it can happen very quickly, and it can crash very quickly as well. So it's one of those things to where I feel like it's one of those things to where if Costa can set this up to catapult himself into title contention, but it's all about how he beats Derrick Lewis. We saw what happened when Cyril Gane beat Derrick Lewis. He was pretty much there for the championship. When he got Derrick Lewis tired and he had to finish ready for Derrick Lewis, he got it done. Now with Waldo Cortez Acosta, he's shown that he'll kind of slack off and do enough just to get the win. But we saw in his last few fights, he's been getting the knockouts, and he's been going for that finish. So if he can do that against Derrick Lewis, I mean, it's going to be pretty. They're going to be pretty even size wise. They're going to be the same. I think Cortez Acosta might be a little bit taller than Derrick Lewis. Size and reach matches up almost even. And Derrick Lewis might be a little bigger, and he might have a more of a strength factor. But like I said, man, this is the heavyweight division, man. But everybody's strong and everybody's powerful. So anything can happen. As far as my final prediction about what'll happen in this fight, I'm gonna go Cortez Acosta by late round. No, not late round. I'm gonna go Derrick Lewis by late round knockout, or I'm gonna go Cortez Acosta by early knockout or decision. I'm floating more towards Acosta by decision, but I would not be surprised if Derrick Lewis pulls something out in the second or third round. So I'll be definitely on the watch out and definitely on the lookout for that one. So we're gonna review some more fights. We're gonna go down the line with this main card, and we're gonna talk about a few of the prelims and the early prelims and the prelim card fights. So yeah, definitely some fights to talk about on this one. We will definitely be back on the next one. So like I said, like I always want to end my videos, I want to say stay safe, stay blessed, and stay dangerous, and we will see y'all on the next one.